Certainly seem to be ramping up the difficulty for themselves in taking Damwon KIA to Villa. You are absolutely right. We're going to get into the operator bans now. It's going to start off with Damwon KIA to begin with. They will take our first attacker out, being that they start on the defence, which I don't want to pile on, Des, but this is just another positive for Damwon KIA, is that they're starting on the defence of Villa. And they've taken the Monty out. They're targeting Cyclops big time.
Look, I feel like a broken record at this point, and I shall stay one. They don't really get easily fixed. In the Japanese league, there is a 30% ban rate against Monty purely because of Cyclops. Anaton, we saw his drop-shotting Monty ways in Mexico, an absolute terror at the best of times. So it comes as no big surprise that it is taken away and denied from them here. Thatcher and Kai, we saw in our game earlier on today between Talon and Fav on this exact map, a good pairing to take away one after the other, and the final ban coming through is going to be the Valkyrie, meaning the mirror stays online though, Ace. A pick that, when we've seen it left open, teams have enjoyed utilising at various points. On this map in particular, defending sites like Aviator and Gaming means you can take a mirror up towards Trophy and Statue and use it for that extended hold, something that we didn't see involving a mirror earlier on today, but definitely saw shields and such being employed for that exact purpose. It will be a start for Damwon KIA in Dining and Kitchen. We spoke about this last week as well, alternating away from starting in Aviator games, just keeping things a little bit different, at least on that first site. Looks to be the game plan once again, whereas on the attacking side, look at that, Ace. Again, that combo we spoke about earlier on today.
Impressive.
Of Lion to KB, Finca, Flores going to be a nightmare for dealing with utility as well. This is a pretty scary lineup coming out of Cyclops.
Very, very oppressive. Big six pick coming in. Zofia switching out to Zofia. Little mental game there. I think sometimes you just want to put it in the head of your opponents that they don't necessarily know what they're facing, even though that is the lineup that you're going to bring now then. We're going to head, as you say, down to that bottom floor to begin with for Damwon KIA, with them trying to lock it down. Katsang on the pulse is one to watch. Katsang's had a good couple of games over the last few play days, and underneath with that heartbeat scanner could prove a bit of a nightmare for Cyclops if they don't deal with him. If you caught in your eye the win-loss record for both these teams just at the beginning of the match as we were loading into the map, you'll notice that it's been a bit hit and miss for both. I think that is fair to say so far in Stage 3. More miss for Cyclops than Damwon KIA, I think, but Damwon KIA have still certainly had their moments where they've come out one week and looked absolutely terrifying, and then the following week, like a ranked team. And you just, what is going on between these two performances? Now, unfortunately for Cyclops' last play day was one of the bad performances for Damwon KIA, so maybe we get that electrifying performance today.
I know you are a massive Damwon KIA fan, but it's why I struggle to... I've predicted them today. I think they will win this game because Cyclops have looked had a torrid time so far in the last few weeks. But for Damwon KIA, as you say, it is that back and forth nature that makes them so hard to predict or understand, and it can be hard to get behind a team when you're not quite sure which version is going to show up on a given day. But I think against Cyclops again, who've looked shaky at points, it could be the day. Iagator snaking his way down here inside of the basement, gets a wonderful kill as well. That's an angle you don't often see held very often. You're not expecting players to play through basement, but Rin caught red-handed down there. The Goyo taken off the board and the C4 denied away.
It's a big start. It's a great start coming out for Cyclops there. Getting one of those roamers taken down. Rin, we know, can be a very impactful player, so just removing him from the board nice and early is certainly going to do Cyclops some favours. The Rotero drones are just going in one after another at the minute, finding piece of utility after piece of utility. Gatorada down in the basement, just being very cautious down there, straight into his ADS as he drops. It's as if there's a little bit of information to suggest that maybe there is still somebody playing down there. I don't think that's actually the case for Damwon KIA. From what I can see, everybody's sort of accounted for at the minute. Courted. He's going to account for Gatorada. Found himself a kill. He does get traded out by Suzuki. 3 versus 4, 1 minute 15 to go.
I'm looking at the utility use coming out of the side of Cyclops too. They've gone through all their phone calls, all their EE1D scans, everything has been used incredibly quickly as the last surge also comes out. So they don't want to deal with the shenanigans that Damwon KIA like to employ. They want to keep them busy, make sure they're locked down on site and deal with them that way when they're more controlled. It's like herding sheep, it feels like, Ace. And while those sheep are being lined up for the slaughterhouse, Cyclops with a decisive first round, and Damwon KIA not being able to benefit off that playstyle that normally works so well for them, the aggressive aggressive roam game is what they're known for. Cyclops have just controlled it and read it like a book.
Great start coming out from Cyclops there, as you say. Just well aware of Damwon KIA, seem to be a step ahead at them every turn there, just managing to get that first round. And we all came in thinking Damwon KIA were going to have a bit of a field day here on Villa, as it is one of their strongest maps. But Cyclops may be sending a message inside that first round to say it's not going to be all their way. But, and it is a big but, we've got to get up onto that top floor yet. We would still expect Aviator Games and Trophy Statuary to be strongholds for Damwon KIA. We would expect them to lock those sites down twice each and get their 4 defensive rounds. That would be the general expectation here. So this is a particularly important round for Cyclops. I know it's very early in the game to be saying that, but if Cyclops can get one of these top floor sites, they can then be looking towards a 3-3 half potentially, and that could be big for them going into the defence in the second half of things. And I know I keep mentioning the skins, but the Cyclops one,
it's a beauty, isn't it?
It's just beautiful.
We always say, but there have been some real bangers coming out in the latest skin share packs, so definitely recommend checking those out if you haven't already. And no, we have not been mandated by our producers to say that. That is because we just like them that much.
Genuinely, me and Des were actually in game when we looked at them for the first time, and we just went through like, I've just bought the Cyclops one. I've just bought the Talon one.
I think the exact words when we first saw them were, oh no, my wallet.
Yeah.
And we knew. Very quickly bought 4 skins and many more sure to follow. Let's see how this round plays out, though. I really want to see the depth from the Damwon KIA squad here show that if you can't play the roam game, you can hunker down and put out a really strong, solid side defense with enough disruption to keep Cyclops guessing. Here, at least for the side of Cyclops, the focus is going to be up towards the northeast. A reminder that it is Aviator and Games. And if you recall and were watching earlier on today, if you weren't, well, you missed a screamer of an end to that game between Talon and Fab. But the north side control was never done well by the attacking team. And here, Damwon strike big. A C4 coming out from Rin to pick a kill up onto Gadarada, and those EE1Ds quickly removed from action.
Maybe a little bit of a lack of attention to that lower side, which is something that we did see in the previous game. And a little bit of a lack of attention to Ayagator there. Costs 2 men on the side of Damwon KIA, and it's all going in Cyclops' favour once again. First it's Ayagator, then it's Black Ray. They managed to get themselves in with kill after kill after kill. Shut down the man inside a sight. Anaton finishes off the round. Cyclops 2-0. And boy, oh boy, this looks like a different Cyclops, Des.
Quite possibly. They responded really well to one man being taken out by picking up a couple of kills of their own, all on the back of Ayagator as well, and that really got that round propelling towards an end pretty quickly. Aviator Games is going to be attempted once again by Damwon KIA. Not too surprised, because the start of it I don't think was particularly bad. They did have the C4 playing below. They had Goyo shields up towards the north side to provide some contestation early on into the round, but the aggression that came out of Cyclops, they didn't care about no shields. They marched their way forward and found further kills. A 2-0 start for Cyclops is a dream start for them, but a nightmare for Damwon KIA.
It's certainly looking that way at the moment. They're going to head straight back to Aviator Games, see if they can turn out a different result. But if they're going to want to do that, they certainly need to. It was almost like they had that advantage early on, Damwon KIA, from using that verticality. Rin managing to get a nice nitro onto Gatarada to start us off. But then, even though they were operating on that lower floor, they didn't pick up on the entry of Ayagator, who was able to just march up the red stairs and take himself 2 absolute freebies up there to just turn things on their head. So great play from Cyclops. Again, just seeming to be one step ahead. It's like they've got the playbook of Damwon KIA and just know exactly what they're going to do before they do it at the minute. So Damwon KIA, they need to come out and maybe try and make themselves a little bit less predictable, maybe look for the unexpected.
And that, I think, is somewhat what they're leaning into here as well. The Goyo disappearing and instead being replaced by Rin on the Alibi. So still having a shield to bring along. But generally you see with the 1.5 now coming through on the Storm that, you know, Alibi can be used as the roamer. Is of course a 3-speed, has those decoys down, which can be useful for information, assuming someone vaults into one or accidentally shoots it as a reaction. You know, much more mobile I'd wager than something like a Goyo would be, but of course you do lose the C4. Either way, that's the one change in this round. I guess you could look back towards the Hibana coming in for Suzu C as well. Maybe they're expecting more of a dug-in defense coming out of Damwon KIA and want a way to breach through, say, Vault Wall or something along those lines. But here's Rin, looking to be aggressive early on, looking to contest. Also, Yas off to his right-hand side. So the two of them looking to disrupt. We all saw how that played out last time round.
We see the first attempt to open up the soft wall into Trophy next to Rin there. Fails as the ADS picks out the utility, but then the second is successful and forces him back. Oh dear, it's going from bad to worse here, Des. Rin gets the opener again, but this time it's on to Oogieman, and that is not ideal for Damwon KIA. 5-4 now in favour of Cyclops, and that's before we even hit the halfway mark.
I'm not even sure what Rin was aiming for there, because he was looking down south in towards, you know, sight and back in towards maps, but I don't know, maybe it was a drone that he saw, whatever it might be. Not the ideal way to start the round, especially when you've made the smart call of saying, look, we've wasted 80 seconds. Let's get back to site with all 5 left alive. And finally, there is going to be something coming the way of Damwon KIA. It's Yas with the opener, the real opener in the round onto Irrigator.
Yas managing to answer back. Black Ray taking a ton of damage as well. Fan himself at half health. Rin just trying to hold on to this 90 corridor for as long as possible. Push back by a flash and then finish off by Black Ray. Great kill coming in from the man on the Flores from the 90 window there, just allowing Gatorada to get in there aggressively on the Lion and establish himself with the support of Suzuki as well, looking to get that vault open and just make the life inside of sight here an absolute misery for Damwon KIA.
The one thing that does baffle me a little bit, they've got 4 sets of flashes. You don't really need 4 sets of flashes. You'd look to normally bring an operator that brings along, I don't know, frags or something to help you burn out this jammer that is on the other side. They tried to go on 6 it. It was not successful. Yas finds himself a second in the round, and at this point, you're going to find Cyclops just have to work their way through all of this bulletproof utility and don't have a choice. But one way to do it is to march into the players themselves. One more for Gatorada, the swing on the doorway to the right-hand side. Oh my god, what a flick onto Katsang. Gets traded out by Kota. If Suzuki wins this, a lot of it comes off the back of Gatorada on that line with a wonderful flick onto the map's door. That 1 versus 1 descends now with only 10 seconds still remaining. Sees the man step out and Suzuki finds it. That is a round you'll be looking at and saying, Gatorada, thank you so much.
I think it's a round that you'll look at and Katsang will be absolutely kicking themselves off the back of that one. They will know that is an absolute freebie, a fight they should not be losing. Coming through that door there, they had a full side-on angle of the Lion of Gatorada, Des. They had a free second, 2 seconds at the beginning of that engagement. You cannot lose that one, as you say. Gatorada just able to somehow wheel around 90 degrees and find the head of the man, and it really did give Cyclops the opening they needed. And Damwon KIA, there's only one way to describe this, and they're rattled.
Just noticed, by the way, they've got gym equipment in the room with them, adjusting on all the cameras. You can see on Yas's screen the dip machine at the back. You've got the bench with the weights on. Just in case you're feeling a bit...
Healthy body, healthy mind, Des.
To a level, but I would love to know how many times a day, potentially, they come off a scrim and just think, you know what I want to do? I don't want to get a drink. I want to lift weights. I want to get a sick pump on.
I want to get a sick pump on. Absolutely.
Magical, but it is a non-magical start coming out for Damwon KIA. 3 rounds down here on the first 3 of Cyclops. Now, I will give some lean. The rounds have got closer. Round 1, 4 players left alive for Cyclops. Second round, 3 players. Last round, 1, with that magical flick from Gatorada doing a lot to help them out. So they are getting closer, albeit having already bled 3 rounds. You'll be asking questions here as to where the wins do start to come in. There is going to be a small change coming in, and sure enough, the Kavira bait pick coming out has scared the other side into picking up the Nomad, just to make sure there aren't flanks coming up in the late round, because we know what Kavira excels at, being that disruptive mid to late round operator that gets in, gets the interrogation down, and it completely cuts off and destroys the flow that a team has got.
You got to remember, Des, that's 3 defensive rounds that have been lost as well. You know, and as we all know, a defensive round on Villa is actually worth 5. So that's the equivalent of losing 15 rounds early on, Des. You know, that's what we're talking here. Obviously, a joke, but the defence on Villa cannot be taken lightly. You know, we do expect teams to come out with a majority, and that's certainly not going to be the case for Damwon KIA now. Not possible. The best they can hope for is to level things up here. We'll see how much that tactical timeout has done for them, how much it manages to help them just change the momentum here. Can they slam the brakes on this runaway train that is Cyclops right now? And it's heading for them, Des. The horn is sounding, but can they get themselves off the tracks or not? That's going to be the big question.
I'm quite a fan of the Capcan here, admittedly. You know, for many, you look at it and go, oh, rank pick, like, why would you want to pick something like that?
Slow things down.
It slows things down. And I always say, as soon as you see one trap, you know there are 4 more waiting around the map for you that you need to drone out. You've got to be careful. Otherwise, late rounds, you might just find yourself rotating into a huge chunk of lost HP and potentially even death. And that can be the sort of thing that does secure rounds for the defenders. At least on this start, though, you've got a bit of a split coming out from the side of Cyclops. You've got 3 of them looking up towards the north and the northeast. Black Ray coming in out towards the lower side of Astro's stairs. So, the sort of thing that we, complained about in our earlier game today between Talon and Fav about single direction attacks. At least here for Cyclops, we are seeing that multifaceted, multi-angled attack coming through that applies pressure from different directions.
That is the peak hole opened in the East Breach then. That is just going to hopefully keep Katsang at bay. I think that's what they're hoping for there, but just leaving that little bit in between is going to allow impact nades to just rain in one after another and take off those further X-Kairos pellets. Now, Suzuki should still have some left. I would expect them to be able to get more of a window open in the breach there. They've only got 1 impact nade left on Rin, so if they get another 2 shot on there, burn that last impact, we should see Suzuki's got 10 left, so that'll leave 8 still to open up plenty of lines of sight, so no major problems there. Woogieman is well aware that he's going to be pushed from 90, but he doesn't even get a further second to react as Ayagator steps up and takes the man down. A rough game for the Woogieman so far as he's gone 0 and 4. If it's not his own team killing him, it's the enemy Des. He just cannot get into this one.
Not quite the boogeyman today, that's for sure. Frightening no kids are popping out under the bed. It's just not his vibe on this day. Hopefully we see him warm up in the second half, but really this is where most teams shine, is in that first half. Franaton also being down by a C4 on the push through. It's definitely not looking too bad for them. Rin even finding Ayagator. So, 2 kills down to the south, or at least a down, does keep Cyclops slowing down. Of course, keeping a close eye on where those Cat-Can traps can be as Suzuki finds another onto Rin. Rin maybe a little bit bold there in challenging onto that angle immediately, and rightly so, loses out to the reverse repel.
Anaton does get collected during that, so we'll be back up to 20 HP. Needs to just be careful how he takes his fights and exactly where and when. Courted's going to find a headshot onto Black Ray now. Then here comes the challenge onto the red stairs. Katsang just looking to get aggressive out of sight with the Malusi here, and Damwon KIA just doing everything they can to try and stem the tide here, but the pressure mounts. Des Gatarada comes in with a big LMG. Chug, 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 the bullets go. Finding the kill onto Katsang. Anaton onto Courted, and that leaves us now 3 versus 1. Gatarada are able to start getting that diffuser down. It's all to Yas. He's got 1, 2, 3, and Yas finishes it off. Simple as ABC comes in with a big clutch, and Damwon KIA needed that moment from their talisman.
Absolutely huge coming out from Yas. And you speak about him as the talisman. That is his role in this team. The big clutcher. And I thought that's when we saw DAMWON KIA back in Mexico. I was like, Rin might be the superstar of the tournament, but it's Yas that you always turn to be the one to deliver consistently and deliver big things. DAMWON KIA sorely needed that round. They were down, of course, in the 3 versus 1. Cyclops setting up the crossfire. They dealt with the flank of Coated coming in from the south side. They played it perfectly. But sometimes you just lose your gunfights, and Yas definitely hands one to them on a plate. That's 1 round at least for Damwon, but Ace, you can't rely on a clutch like that every single round. So what is going to happen in this next?
See, I knew you were going to say that, Des, before I wanted so badly to come in and say the tactical timeout, seeming to do something there, get Damwon KIA around, but I can't even claim that when it's going to come down to a 1v3. That's the fight, realistically, that wins it for Yas there. Just takes a dip in the gunfight and hits the man wonderfully. It was 3 great shots from him to get that one over the line, but we can't pin it down to that tactical timeout. We can't pin it down to anything other than a moment of magic. And as you say, Damwon KIA, you cannot rely on those. We need to see more solid play throughout the rounds and not finding yourself in a 3v1 at the end, relying on that ability of Yas. So this time, they've got to use that as a foundation. They've broken the momentum. They've broken the win streak of Cyclops. Now it's time to start building on those foundations. Sometimes you got to rely on a little bit of luck, Des, and Damwon KIA have had that, but they've got to capitalise on it now.
I think again it's the battle of the, the massive oppression coming in from the lineup coming out of Cyclops. Speaking again towards the Lion, the KB, the two, big anti-roamer operators, sometimes paired up with the Jackal by some teams if you really want to go overkill and shut a team down, but they can't play the normal playstyle they're forced into these extended holds where they stay as a group of 2 or 3 and then pull themselves back onto site. It's what they're having to do so far. You've got Woogie still hanging out on the downstairs. I mean, ultimately, when you're in basement here as well, you're not in a massive threat position. If you can keep yourself moving around a lot, then chances are they're not going to hear you if you call out on the phone, which is why you're still enjoying a leisurely stroll down through, well, I guess all the wine is.
I get to just up on the rappel there, pressuring onto the window, just looking to make sure nobody's trying to rotate around the top of red stairs. He's got that cut off. Gatorada going to find the opener onto Katzang, and the entry game is something that Cyclops have been particularly strong on so far today, coming in here with plenty of man advantages. We've got the Finker boost, we've got the E1D scan, and as you say, Des, this is very oppressive play from these attackers on the side of Cyclops, just making Damwon KIA lives absolutely miserable at every single opportunity, just making them feel like they can't move, they can't breathe, like they're stifled inside of sight. And Gatorada's just going to hold that map's angle for the time being. He doesn't want to get over-aggressive here whilst that deployable shield is still in play. And as I say that, we've got Black Ray sending in the Roteros to try and take utility out, but straight into a mute jammer. Anaton instead goes route 1 in through that study window, takes the man from behind the shield. This could be big from Woogie Man, though. He's on a flank up the red stairs. He looks the wrong way and gets shut down by Gatorada. 1 versus 3 with still a minute to go. And Cyclops, they've pretty much got control of sight as well.
Yeah, Kota should be finding that one. Here comes the smoke as well, but I think it's going to miss the planter. Black Ray is going to be able to confirm and stick this one out, back himself out into study. In fact, no, stays. Doesn't stick, doesn't twist. It's triple kill coming in for Kota. The one more up towards the north side. Does he see the man? Surely he does, but Gatorada does not miss those. It's a 3k for him in the round. And Kota, unfortunately, not able to clutch it out.
They were almost able to rely on the 1v3 again there. I thought, are they going to make liars of us, Des, saying that you can't bank on those moments? But 2 was all she wrote this time, as Gatorada, as you say, with a nice long angle on the Lion there, finds the last man and closes it out for Cyclops. So 4-1 on the half, and Damwon KIA are in real danger here, Des, of a 5-1 half as they head on to the attack.
It's not pretty, is it? I do want to commend again Cyclops making use of these operators, because it's all good and saying, oh, well, they got them there for it's anti-roam, right? The use case for it was more, droning them running back into sight. Gatorada called out the E1D a couple of times on his push in from master bedroom to get himself to top red. And along the way, once he got there, he didn't, push in the sight, start throwing nades or whip out the Gon 6 to destroy something. He just held the angle. Didn't stand there peeking it. Just stayed enough that if someone did come out of Matt's room, he would see them running across and would find himself a freebie, or potentially if anyone came up the red stairs. And as the rest of his team was setting up, you have Black Ray getting himself on study, Anaton setting himself up on the study window, for example. He just played patiently and waited. It's almost like they were waiting for a milestone to pass before he could spring into action and make his move. And look at the patience that paid off. He got that freebie onto the rotating player coming back up red stairs eventually. So Cyclops showing excellently, in my mind, how to deal with an aggressive roam team here. Just take what you need, play it patient, and force them to come to you once you've got that small numbers advantage. Really well played by the Japanese side.
Round 6 then, going to be heading downstairs this time to Dining Kitchen. It's going to be the final attempt from Damwon KIA to try and get another defensive round on the board. Last time out when they tried to defend Dining Kitchen was back in round 1, and it was a little bit of a failure. Cyclops were able to get in there, take control of almost anything they wanted before pushing into sight and getting the final 2 kills. So Damwon KIA are going to have to do things differently here. They lost the man in the basement. It was Rin who took that opening death last time around, and they need to just adapt. They need to change. They need to understand that Cyclops have got a good understanding of what they're going for. Another Rotero drone going into a mute there, just really struggling with those jammers so far.
Yeah, it's kind of what mute's designed for, right? Ultimately, is to be these anti-Rotero devices. Same can be said for the Pest, although we've seen mute, I think, alone in a good number of these rounds. So it's one that you wouldn't look at and say we've seen continuously, but has been brought out a number of times over the recent weeks. In this game, at least, it's only in this round we've seen the Mozzie so far, though.
Suzuki looking for that north-sided entrance. They're looking to get themselves into Master and Bedroom for the verticality. It's Katsang who's actually going to open things up with the kill onto Gatarada, taking the E1D scanner off the board. And yes, he manages to hit Anaton with a serious turn and burn there. Just takes a few shots in his flanks, but then able to find the kill. Courted onto Black Ray, and this one's looking much better for Damwon KIA. They're having the run of things as Woogieman steps up and catches the man at the top of basement stairs, just coming down Astro himself. Now Suzuki gets one, but surely it's going to be impactless. He does have all the time in the world, but Damwon KIA right now know exactly where he's located, where he's trying to push from, and the bullets keep raining in around him. He tries to keep his head down for the time being, but surely this is a matter of time until Damwon KIA put him out of his misery.
You're thinking that, yeah, 1 minute 15 on the clock does mean there's a lot of time to play with, but I fear Suzuki has very little time left. Gets swung out on as well, putting him down even lower. About 40 HP still to his name, and Rin does find the closing kill. A near flawless round coming out with 4 players still alive at the end for Damwon. Gives I don't want to say a comfortable end to the half, but one they will greatly appreciate. Otherwise, you're going into the attack at 5-1. It's not really how it should stack up. The one thing I do want to see is how these first couple of attacks go for the side of Damwon KIA, though, because Cyclops played a wonderful game of restricting and constricting Damwon KIA throughout that entire first half. I'm wondering if there's going to be a similar ploy coming out from Damwon KIA on their attack to stop players like Black Ray, who we all know to be problematic out on their own, doing just that. Looking towards players like Gatarada, Iragator, Anaton, all capable of being those big fraggers. And in fact, they're not really the players that we'll talk about. Suzuki kind of sits in the background as the support player that we don't normally see being hyper-aggressive. In this game, he's been quite close to the action despite playing an awful lot of a banner. Think of him on the Master Repel, for example. At that point, he was on 3 kills, collected a 4th onto Rin as he tried to swing onto the window. So even playing a massive part in this game as the more supportive player on side.
Courted and Yas so far able to team up for 15 kills. Damwon KIA, they've had a good round at the right time, Des. That's what I will say there. Round 6, if you're going to have 2 winning rounds on your defence, one of them's going to be a 1v3 and one of them's going to be a convincing win. The time to have that convincing round is in round 6, to try and flip that momentum coming into the second half. That's the best round that we've seen Damwon KIA play so far. Now, Cyclops, they're going to be setting up on the top floor for their defence here. They've got the Goyo shield just focusing into study. It's one that we've started to see a little bit more of, and it just allows a bit of aggression. And as I say that, Black Ray is going to thank you very much for that, Black Ray. He's going to move it. It's just going to allow him to peek from somewhere else instead. He's still trying to do the same thing with it. So he's moved it to allow peeks to come through that soft wall onto the study door. And it's all about controlling study and slowing down and preventing that south-sided push.
I want to know where that third... I can't remember who's observing this one. I think it's easy. Can you go and find out where the third laser gate is for me? I think he popped it up the north somewhere because there's 2 inside a study. And I don't think I saw it go down. I was going to say, I didn't see it go on this door, but he ran like straight downstairs, like it's on the double door that leads down towards 90. Okay, then. I imagine more to make sure there's no, nades being yeeted down there, for example. That's all.
The Rotero coming in very quickly and clearing out a Vulcan shield, clearing out the deployable at the top of main stairs. Flores wasting absolutely no time here. Courted, he's been finding kills. He's now finding utilities. Difficult to stop. He tries to get in for the ADS, but that is an important moment from Gatarada there. Able to step out and find a quick shot onto the Rotero drone, which is just going to help protect him from all 3 of them stacked up in the same place. This is the reason Courted was going for it again, and that was important. If that one Rotero manages to anchor Des, it takes out all 3 ADSs, and there is no protection for that main stairs player. So extremely important. We could see this now being a sticking point for the round.
They're always expecting the push to follow up on the back of the Rotero. Oh, sees his head. Oh,
beautiful, beautiful.
Yes. Just baiting it out because they knew there were 2 players there, knew that one was likely to peek from halfway up the second tier of stairs, and now it's just Gatarada holding lay down, who, by the way, has already gone through all 3 smokes. They thought there was a push coming and didn't realise it was only Roteros. They're now kind of paid for that in the cost of utility. That is the last smoke being used and consumed. Sure enough, there is no push coming in, but it doesn't mean they won't try and burn out these ADSs. Up they come, the nade in hand, the swing coming out from the smoke, but doesn't see the man. They see him first. It's a great main stairs push coming out of Damwon KIA, baiting out the smokes, and killing 2.
I like that, the nade going in there and just forcing the smoke wide, but there was somebody watching that angle at all times, and Damwon KIA looking like a different side right now, Des, in the last couple of rounds. Absolutely clinical so far in their clearance of those stairs. Blackray looking to get aggressive onto anybody he can, but he can't find anybody. Try as he might, he's going to find a Gemini decoy on the red stairs. He's about to be pushed by Katsang, though. Cannot find him as the headshot comes in. It's all up to Anaton. 1 versus 5. Surely a Damwon KIA around here. He's being pushed from every which way. It's Rin who steps in on the Ash and gets that final kill. Damwon KIA, they bring it back to 3-4 now, and this one is game on.
Just a little bit, yeah, really impressive attack coming out, actually. And it was the main stairs that really impressed me the most, but then how they rotate players over to red to go for the clear on that side as well. You know, Cyclops essentially bleeding members out the whole way across the map, have now got to try something a little bit different. And that different, we spoke about the mirror not being banned out in the ban phase, making it through. We didn't see it employed at all by Damwon KIA, but for the side of Cyclops, it is going to be a different story. Imagine you might see those committed upstairs if they stick it, and just like you in the last round talking about that, Goyo, they've changed it away for a pulse. Of course they have.
It's going to be a 6th pick from Mira to Pulse, just playing around with it a little bit, but as you say, just looking to maybe favour information. Still with a Nitro in hand, but just favouring that information. No surprise, considering...
Feel cheated.
Considering they're on the dining, they're going to bring that along. We'll see how Ayagator puts that to use. We did see the vertical Nitro kill coming out of Damwon KIA on their defensive half. We'll see if Cyclops can maybe match up to that. They look like they're stacking up and preparing for the push into Laundry there, Des, and it has been a lot of the focus recently. Pantry has sort of dipped off a little bit. We always used to have that push in towards Pantry and towards directly into Kitchen, but we don't see as much of that nowadays.
No, I'm keen to see exactly how much of this setup extends out towards the west as well. Reinforcements going down inside of Living does mean that you might see a player or two roaming out that far. Blackray currently the one who is set up in there. And if he can do a bit of damage on the south side, even just waste a bit of time, it'll be a wonderful start to this round for the side of Cyclops. For Damwon KIA, though, I imagine vertical might be the play, given there is that sledge on side. There's a 4 nades on side to still play around as well. And you'll probably see Kota trying to push inside a Pantry to get the single wall opened up and just expose everything inside a Kitchen, make sure the attackers are sweating a little bit ace on their defense of the site.
Opening kill comes in from Katsang onto Blackray, and Damwon KIA, they are not slowing down, Des. This is a runaway train now, and they've got it back on track, and they are steaming along, picking up kill after kill, and round after round, they've got 2 on the bounce, and they're going to be looking for a third. Gatarada wanting to get aggressive on the Bandit. He's still on that top floor roam. Damwon KIA wanting to get that vertical supremacy. They've got the sledge of Katsang. Has taken a little bit of chip damage, so he needs to be careful with himself. Not too much use if they get in upstairs and don't have the soft destruction capability to get those vertical angles, but there's also going to be a focus on getting this wall open. The nade will come out, take out the 2 bandits, probably pushing the range a little bit there, Des. But I could feel what was coming, but he gets away with it nonetheless. Gatarada finds Katsang, so that's the sledge gone. That's quite a big kill. The trade does come in from Rin, but they're now limited on their soft destruction. They do still have the Ash, though, so the breaching chargers will be able to do some of that job.
On the breaching rounds you're looking towards. They've only got 2 to play with, of course. They've got to be very selective on where those are used, and you've still got to watch out for the C4 coming out of the Pulse, who, by the way, is yielding a shotgun, because why the hell not? When you run out of the C4s, you've still got that as a possible option. And yes, with a cheeky little cam here as well. I think just sat on top of the light means it's very hard to see. We'll have an idea as to what's going on below and can feed them a bit of information here through Laundry, nade in hand. I was going to say, needs to be wary. He might find out his own drone if he's not too careful, but in comes the push. The Pulse surely is looking laterally every now and then to know exactly what's going on. But still, Yas being very, very cautious here. All it's going to take is to scan out towards Laundry to know there's 1 or 2 starting to square up that way, and they can do some damage. Suzuki moving his way back up basement, and likely, I'd imagine, looking to provide a bit of support out towards the east where all this pressure is coming from.
That whole push from Yas was just designed to take out specific utility there. He needed to dump the nade in, but he needed to make sure that it was safe to do so. Anaton holding that angle, just changing actually, looking in towards Laundry, but knows that there's pressure as well. They don't know that Ayagator's pushing up. up, traded out after he managed to get a shotgun kill, 2 versus 1. Courted and Yas, they need to team up here. Des Suzuki on low health. He's gone down to basement. There's an opportunity, a clear opportunity to get the diffuser down, and Courted, like a true professional, gets in and takes it, and that is going to be now a retake. 1 versus 2. The drone taken out may well just alert them as well. Damwon KIA that Suzuki is pushing from Pantry. They're going to be holding down their angles. Look at how small those silhouettes are. They're miles away here, trying to get as far back as possible to just hold long angles and make his life difficult. Surely he's not going to try and stick this. He's just looking to bait them out, is he not? Nope, he's going for it. Courted steps in. He's on hand. Here's the sound of the diffuser being disabled. Steps in and gets the final kills. Damwon KIA, they take another round and they'll level us up.
If nothing else, this game is just proof in the pudding of there are two halves to a game of Siege, right? It looked dire in that first half for Damwon KIA when Cyclops walked away with 4 attacks and we thought, oh no, this is going horribly wrong for the boys here. But this was the point, to be fair, the 4th round into the half, which this one will become, where things started to switch and change around. Sorry, 3rd round coming in here, where things then change around a little bit and you start to see a bit of fight back normally from the other side. Aviator's going to be where we step into. This is the one to look at, Ace, and think, really, for Cyclops, you need to be getting this win in here. If Damwon pull ahead with the momentum behind them, you start to sweat for those last couple of rounds, and it could be yet another defeat for Cyclops, who currently find themselves 2nd from bottom here in APAC North.
Which is not something that we would have expected to find ourselves saying after that performance in Mexico, after stage 2. Let's not forget, for anybody coming in and joining us, I know we've picked up a lot of new people liking to watch APAC after what you saw out of the teams at the Mexico Major, and quite rightly, because we've got some real talent here in APAC North and indeed APAC South, of course, as well. But in stage 2, it's worth pointing out that Cyclops went 7-0. They were unbeaten in stage 2, and then they've come out here and a 2nd from bottom. What a turnaround it has been. It is just absolutely unreal how they've dropped off, and they just can't seem to find and deliver the same sort of performances. And this for me is quite indicative, Des, of the sort of struggles that they've had. They come in here so strong. They were 4-1 up at a point, and Damwon KIA have reined them back into 4-all, and now they are seriously on the back foot.
Got to come with some magic of their own on the defensive side here, but for Damwon KIA, it's an opportunity, if nothing else. They are only 1 point above Cyclops, mind you. Cyclops are 7th, Damwon are 5th with 5 points. Talon are the team that are currently in 3rd place with 8, and then Fnatic on 6. So that gap between last place on 4 points and 3rd place on 8 is incredibly close, which is what makes this such an important game. 2 big kills, 2 important kills in a game like this are the ones that you want to be finding. Black Ray being disruptive on the alibi. We got used to seeing that an awful lot at the Major. Now it's what more damage they can do. They've got those 2 kills here and could look to pull their way back to site. Happy they've made it a 5 versus 3. But I imagine Damwon KIA also want to try and find something here to make up for losses they've already endured. Very
positive so far for Cyclops. Exactly the sort of start that they needed. They've lost 3 rounds in a row, so coming out and getting a nice man advantage. We've all been there. You get those couple of early kills, and the team just settles down a bit. Now, Anaton, he's going to spot out the Nomad of Woogieman coming through bathroom there. This should be an absolute freebie for Black Ray as he moves in challenges, just misses his shot as Woogieman sort of waves himself around, trying to get out of the way of that yokai drone. Doesn't know where it is. In comes the challenge, and eventually Black Ray manages to finish the kill off. That's going to be Woogieman down, and Yas finds himself in a 1v5. We've seen a 1v3 out of him so far, but you've got to say that this must surely be beyond him. Even with his ability, it's going to be extremely difficult for Yas now. He does have time on his side, and he's just waiting on the outside for the time being. See if he can get anybody to challenge him. Get a cheap kill or 2 to start things off.
This is nothing like the last 3 rounds where it's just been out-and-out domination on the road from Cyclops. Sorry, Black Ray especially on the 3Ks, waiting for the man. That's where you get punished for being a little bit cheeky there on the 2-3 peak coming through. Yas finding one back, going 12-4 so far in the game, but this looks to be one of those rounds that will not be going the way of Damwon KIA.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. The Gemini decoy is going to go in. For Yas right now, it's all about just trying to bait out a couple of kills, see if you can catch anybody out. There's also going to be a lot of talking going on in the team. It's almost the unofficial tactical time out here, as they're just going to be chatting in the background about what they've seen, what they need to change, how they can get this one over the line. Because the thing is here, they start running out of opportunities. Yas now, with 15 seconds to go, is going to look to push forward. 1 versus 4 at the minute, but you can see that Cyclops are just being being super cautious here, and quite rightly so. They're holding themselves back. They're defenders. They can let the clock win the round for them. There's absolutely no need to push this. That's going to send us now to 5-4 in favour of Cyclops to get themselves back in the lead. But more importantly, they've managed to stop the storm that was Damwon KIA rolling downhill, gathering pace.
One thing I will say is in round 4, when Damwon KIA won narrowly with one man left alive, it was Yas in the 1 versus 3. We did say you can't always rely on one person to do all the work, and a lot of that was Black Ray on the roam up to the north, albeit it did start with 2 of them up there, and the Yokais also coming in huge for them. So we've got to see a more dominant round coming out of them now. That breaks the momentum. Let's see if they can roll it forward into another round win. Dining and Kitchen going to be the site that we head to in round 10. It's where we stepped to just a couple ago. So far, completely avoiding Trophy and Statuary. And we commented on this before. Dining Kitchen is becoming a much more popular site for a good number of teams, and Trophy and Statuary being swerved, in many instances.
Yeah, it has dropped off in popularity a little bit. It depends team to team. Some people do still like to pick it up and take it, but certainly Cyclops here looking to favour Dining and Kitchen. So we'll head downstairs. 3 nitros in hand. A lot of explosives on the side of Cyclops. They're going to be looking for that vertical denial. Obviously expecting to see Damwon KIA get themselves in above. Katsang has brought the sledge. Did last time. Was unable to get into that area in control alive. So we didn't see too much use of the verticality. But Damwon KIA was still able to get the job done. And it was through an ingress in Laundry.
Of course, Gatorada down to the south as well. No big reinforcements being stacked up down here. Refer back again to the games earlier on today. Talon versus Fav. We saw teams committing reinforcements, shields, you name it. There's quite a bit being dedicated down to the south, even Banshees, to try and hold out on the roam. I feel here, and I think maybe Gatorada feels the same, it would be a little bit much to commit all of that down to the south when you're defending on the other floor at the other side of the map. Just a one extension too far almost. And more it's the early start here, I think, to try and pick up any drones that might come rolling in through study and back his way in towards the team. And you can see pretty much every member of Damwon KIA was on drones just up to a couple of seconds ago, with only, I think, Woogie the one being off them because he was throwing down a couple of air jabs.
Suzuki just on the roam underneath there, sort of semi-roam, quite near sight, but just looking to have that threat potentially there to be able to head up Astro, or just keep his options open. A nice nitro tossed into bathroom, for example, when those angles start getting opened up, could be successful. Katsang for the time being trying to get established inside a master, just being peeked out from towards the 90 corridor and the statuary side of things. Just a couple of shots raining through there just to back him off. Yas clearing out the deployable shield that we saw him do exactly the same with last time. They haven't cleared off the bandit batteries yet. I'm sure that may be the next job, but they're not going to get that wall breached until they do, and here we go. That will be cleared off. There'll be a nade comes over from Yas now, but they do have Irrigator there this time. He does have an impact nade left, so
oh, no.
I was going to say could look for the trick. Instead, Desi tries to go route 1 and get the kills, but gets shut down. Courted, very alert and alive, ready to go for the breach, finds the Maestro, and then opens up the wall. Strong start from Damwon KIA.
Yeah, comfortable as well. Good composure coming out of Damwon KIA. Rain on the push in here. Finally gets the win against Gatorada, even with the Yokais coming in for a bit of robot wars. However, taken out as they were trying to drop that down through the hatch. One remains for Anaton to make good use of here. And finally, they see that drone that has been set on the lamp in the last couple of attacks of this site, which should start to open things up for Damwon KIA. They've got the vertical control. They've got the numbers advantage. The only thing starting to run away from them is time, Ace.
It certainly is. They need to be very aware of that clock. There's still plenty of seconds left for now, but they will find them dripping away very, very quickly as this one goes. And time is a funny thing. It seems to move quicker and quicker the closer that you get to the end of the round. 30 seconds left to go. Damwon KIA looking to aggress, but they haven't managed to find any further kills yet. They've got the breaches open that they need, but they need to start thinking about getting this diffuser in sight. It's still in the hands of Courted here, but I don't think he's in a position to get the plant down just yet. Now Suzuki looking to move up, catches the air jab there. That's going to tell them that he's on the Astro stairs, and Woogie Man plays it beautifully. It's his own utility that he plays off. He manages to double down and find a second onto Black Ray, who got Katsang in the midst. Courted getting the diffuser down. Anaton misses his shots. Woogie Man with a triple on the round. Big play from the Nomad enables the win for Damwon KIA. And Des, we're going all the way to 12.
Woogie as well, going on an adventure there in the basement. You saw him enter off of pantry side, came all the way below up, and sure enough, Suzu C wasn't expecting anyone to come up from the basement, was instead turning his attention skyward. Cyclops understandably calling in their tactical timeout here as things are on a nice edge. It's 5-5 between these two teams. Cyclops only finding one round in the half so far. They need another from somewhere to guarantee at the very least that overtime is on the cards.
That's the aim. You know, that's the aim for them now, is to get this locked down, get the opportunity to get that match point, and also just maybe alleviate a little bit of the pressure, knowing that no matter what happens, you're going to have that opportunity to fight. So if you're not familiar with our structure here, we play best of 12, so 6-all would be an even split and would see us go through to overtime. If anybody manages to win the next 2 rounds and go 7-5, they'll claim a full 3 points. If it goes to 6-all and we head into that overtime, though, instead of 3 points and 0 points, we will see that change, with the winner picking up 2 points and the losers managing to secure themselves 1 point as a little bonus for making it into overtime. So we'll see if that is the case or not. This round is going to be particularly important. It feels like the momentum still lies with Damwon KIA here. They seem to be the aggressors in most situations. They're winning a lot of the gunfights. If they get this round, it's going to take a big effort from Cyclops to get themselves into overtime. So for me, Cyclops really need to be winning this, and Des, they're in trophy statuary.
And they have a mirror, the one we spoke about earlier on. It got 6 picked away a little earlier on, whereas at least here it's being brought along and committed. So I'm hoping these more static positions with a little bit more reinforcement behind them, and of course information being passed back to the team, could help them, you know, delay and push off and detract Damwon KIA from pushing certain angles. At least that's the hope for them, no doubt. C4 holes over the top as well, ready for anything that might come in through Master. I'm wondering where that second one gets deployed as well, because of course that is still in back pocket. Could see one facing into Astra if they want to play it out that way, or go a little bit more wild and look to put it elsewhere around the map. Around the map is the answer, south side.
Around the map, straight to that south side. I was just about to say, how much are they going to apply? How much utility manpower are they going to apply to the south sided push? Now, it looks like Damwon KIA are sort of mounting up ready for a north sided challenge. We've got 4 over that side, including the hard breach of Courted. So they're going to look to get that mirror window inside a master bedroom opened up, I would expect. Yas is also working over that side. So right now, that utility on the south side could be wasted, but of course it does just hold them off from the potential for that rotation. Now, the pulse is down in the basement. Gatarada's just feeding information back into his team here, telling them that they're stacking up on the north side, wanting to come in towards Astro. He's been seen, though. He's going to have to dip himself away, and this is the beauty of basement. There's a lot of little tunnels to wriggle away down there.
By the way, Irrigator is still doing setup nearly 60 seconds into the start of the round. He's been using his shotgun like non-stop. And I'm kind of paying myself in a corner here, but Black Ray's gone for the MP5K, so everything has come down to Irrigator. Finally gets himself finished off, and now can start going for gunfights. Finish the setup and straight into a round of siege, straight into gunfights. That's what you want.
Oh, you love to see it. It's absolutely non-stop action. He's chased those Damwon KIA players away from Kitchen for the time being, so that is going to prevent some of that verticality that was getting opened up, and you can see exactly why it was being done, but the damage has been done along with it, Des. They haven't got the mute jammer, but they've got the mirror window open, so that's going to allow a bit of access to potentially take that mute jammer down, but they need to do something about it, because right now it is holding them off from opening up the wall.
I think Rin's been sought out by the pulse scanner here as well, but doesn't get taken out. I don't think they're really able to do so. Anaton finding COVID from across in Astro. Across
Hopefully
inside
not.
of Astro. No, apparently not. Absolutely not, I'm sure. But does find the one man that he's been looking for in the start of this round. And that now lets them know that Astro is being held, and they've got to clear him out. Irrigator finally moved out as the mirror, who was hanging out on the downstairs mirror. If you remember, 4 versus 4, 50 seconds to go. And so far, it feels a little bit like Damwon are being contained.
It certainly does. They've still not managed to get the wall open. They do have the line of sight in through the mirror, so it maybe makes that opening a little bit redundant and not quite as essential. But Yas is trying to push here. Anaton well aware of the man inside the bathroom, and it's not going to be an easy fight to take as he has a little peek, and this shot's exchanged, and somehow Yas manages to find the win on the gunfight. Gets Anaton down and out. 24 seconds off to go, but the clock is ticking away, and it could be Damwon KIA's biggest enemy here. Yas, he's looking to get aggressive into onto site. 4 versus 2 as Rin gets one onto Gatorada. It's all slipping away from Cyclops right now. Katsang is inside of site. He's getting the diffuser down. Black Ray was downstairs with a nitro in hand, but so was Rin. And they had a gun in hand, all that was needed to end the round, and that's going to be Damwon KIA now with the opportunity to close this one out. 6-5 match point, and you've got to say the advantage does lie with them.
Yeah, Yas rocking up and getting that kill onto Irrigator was the equivalent of walking up to a house's front door and booting it straight off the hinges, because the north side control is removed. No one's safe playing inside of either sides when the push can come in from that direction, whilst Master is also being contested, and everything just crumbles for that point forward for Cyclops. It's 6-5. Cyclops barely able to scrape around together, but this needs to be the one. If they're going to see this continue and move us through into overtime, it needs to happen now. Aviator Games is the site of choice. It has been dicey for them so far. It was the one round they won, but I would wager that round win had nothing to do with the site itself, because it was the 3K for Black Ray in the extension up in towards Master Bedroom. So it's going to have to be something special here. Let's not forget as well the excellent attack that we saw back in round 7 coming out of Damwon KIA. Near flawless from the cells, the bunker bus coming in onto the main stairs to rotate to red. They've played it flawlessly. So all Cyclops have got a whim to ride on here is that extended hold, is the aggressive roaming play. So maybe that's going to be the setup they need.
Maybe it is, as you say. It can't always come down to those hero plays, as you say it, time after time after time. And Cyclops, they can't fall back on it now. They've got to get in there and find those kills early on. Whoever it is that gets them, it's going to take some strong teamwork. And if you remember last time around, Damwon KIA had a great attack onto main stairs here when they were successful attacking onto Aviator Games back in round number 7. It was a wonderful clearance where they just got so hyper aggressive onto those main stairs. There was absolutely nowhere that the Cyclops players could hide. They managed to pick 2 of them up on the stairs and get the kills, and it really was beautiful aggression coming out of Damwon KIA. Now then, in goes Courted with the Rotero straight away towards those main stairs.
Think about last time how he sent them in through Art Studio as well. Now he's got 2 angles of attack. He can go from below, or he can go through the top side and try and get rid of those ADSs. For now though, shields, nom 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 nom. Roteros love shields. Second one going down in the round, and that's a lot of protection removed away from the side of Cyclops, because we know how powerful those shields inside of maps can normally be. They don't have that protection anymore, and here it comes. If it jumps over here, it'll make the player move and get rid of all 3 ADSs. Freebie boys, you've hit the jackpot.
Absolutely beautiful play. Jackpot is the right word, Des. Ding, 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 ding. We've cleaned out May Stairs, and that is going to be ours to push on to now. Look at this from the Rotero. Yokai as well. That is just one of the best Rotero performances I've seen out of a Flores, and I'm excited about it, Des, because it is so valuable.
Well, count it. 3 shields that were brought along by the smoke, the alibi, and the echo, plus getting a Yokai,
3
plus
ADSs.
3 ADSs. This is why so many teams and players around the world are like, this operator is broken. 4 is so many and it removes so much, but part of it comes back on the other side, you know? There's no mute on side. That's the reason a lot of teams bring mute, is to deny away things like the Flores. But without anyone, I think they looked at it and said, well, we haven't seen the Flores be brought along in this half, so why keep on playing mute? This was the round they dropped away from it after playing it for the 2 prior, and it has stung them massively.
Katsang's got himself in a battle with Black Ray. He's just locked in a death grip down here, Des. Just waiting for the man to try and push inside of Library, but he's not going to do for the time being. He's going to use the bailiff to just drop the hatch there and try to come up from an alternative angle. They need to be careful of Black Ray, and they need to keep him at bay somehow. They can't allow him onto the flank to make an impact. We saw the impact of the Roteros. Rin was able to push up onto main stairs completely unimpeded, as we can see, being joined by Katsang. The push is starting now, Des. Sledge getting in, opening up that 90 corridor wall. 30 seconds left to go. We're poised for a bloodbath.
It's the time that worries me the most, though. You've still got to burn your way through the smokes that are coming out. The second one and the last one from Gatorada committed towards the bottom side of 90. They've done all the hard work. They've cleared the utility, but the kills aren't there. Here we go. The 1-for-1 trade coming in. Rin stepping forward, tagged in from Volt, but sees the man to the right, finds the easy kill down. Katsang, another one. A 4 versus 2 coming in for Damwon with 10 seconds to play. Black Ray strikes back, as does Gatorada. The 2 versus 2 stepping in. They've got to clear them out now. Shotgun in hand, shut down. a 2 versus 1. But where is Black Ray? Yes, sees him. Damwon get the shutdown. They block the overtime, and they defeat Cyclops 7-5.
Absolute chaos at the end in Aviator games, but Damwon KIA, they were the eye of the storm. They were the ones able to find the kills and close this one out. It felt for all the life of them that they had that second half. They had the momentum and they kept a hold of it, getting themselves an